ring me when you are up 700 points, not 150 points. And that's what we did by the end of the day. So kudos. And ABFRL was rocking along with Idea. So who says you can't make money? All you have to do is watch ET now. Yes, I think we've made that sharp recovery. Maybe we plateau here for a few days. You need digestion. FI's outlook will keep rotating on sectors, but sectoral outperformance is there. You are getting a trading opportunity in some of the PSUs, and we continue to think ABIC Birla Group is being re-rated, and that is going to be a star performer this year.
Okay, there are certain stocks which we need to be discussing right now because of the sheer action in the bulk deal segment yesterday. Pull up Shilpa Medicare. Shilpa Medicare has been a promised stock for a very long time, but lately some of the fundamental developments which have happened, the stock has come back to 500 levels. Yesterday we saw Plutus Arpit Khandelwal active in that counter. Pull up the data. Plutus Wealth has bought 7.5 lakh shares in Shilpa in yesterday's trading session at 492. We are still at 490. Perhaps a little bit of gap up today because of this point. Traders would be excited. But what do the charts tell you right now? Kunal, can you do a chart check for Shilpa?
Yeah, it's interesting because, Ajay, over the last 6 weeks consecutively, the stock had been correcting. So this is the fifth or the sixth straight week where the stock had been correcting from 550 levels to this week, the stock had hit 420, 417 mark, which means that, for the stock to make a comeback and, really try to diverge this entire move of 20%, 25% correction and come back towards a breakout on a 550 could be very remarkable, because historically whenever that has happened for Shilpa Medicare after such 5-6 weeks of price correction indicates that the stock generally tends to rally further by a margin of at least 15 to 20% in a very short span of time and then continues to move up higher in terms of the trend. So I think what we need to wait out for is a breakout, potential breakout above the 550 mark, which is the previous major multi-week swing high. The all-time high levels for Shilpa Medicare is still, I think, 650 plus 670, 650 mark, which means that there could be a potential of at least another further 100 points on the upside above those breakout levels of 550.
And Sanjeev, one can't ignore the move that we're seeing within the entire FMCG liquor basket as a whole. Do you believe that this is sort of just a flash in the pan move, or there is something real here?
Well, both sides. I mean, I've been advocating lever at 2200 when nobody was asking, and I gave you the premise that rural incomes are the biggest beneficiaries, whoever comes to power. You've got a good rainfall, inflation is under control, and I think the choice and aspiration of growing to bigger bands is growing. I continue to think in Hindustan Lever or any correction, so had Marico and Nestle, these are. But our two outperformers there are going to be Bata and Patanjali. Patanjali purely because of the reach of the rurals, and Bata because of the aspiration to grow into a brand like Bata. However, Aman, there will be this sectoral churn. That's why the index has found very, very strong footing. So there has been a lot of bloodletting in the PSUs, in the power, in the railway and defense stocks. That is where you should be a little cautious. But I would be even more bullish now on power. Just look at the numbers from IEX. What is the record turnover? Look at some of the large cap insurance plays. HDFC has just crossed 3 lakh crore of AUM. And these are mean achievements which are taking place, whereas the stocks have done not much. So FMCG continues to be a basket which in the near term will outperform. And you will have sectoral churn in the rest of the areas. Defense and railways is something you should be a little wary of.
Okay, be wary of defense and railways, but Bata and Patanjali, who thought Patanjali is going to be a stock idea? But yeah, the first one to call it out, that's Sanjeev Bhasin. In fact, a lot of investors seem to have taken the consumption stocks amid the volatile moves that the market has had since Tuesday. Amid the steep declines, it was the FMCG index that was holding up well afloat on hopes of a rural policy push aiding this uptake or the rise of simple momentary in nature as well. So let's take stock of the sector with a whole host of market experts. Atul Suri, Sunil Singhania, Venugopal Gari, and here's their opinion on the FMCG pack.
It was a laggard sector, was FMCG. So it's not that there were any big build-ups or any over-ownership. This was a space where there was under-ownership. And even to get to equal market weight, you will kind of have to see the kind of buying you're seeing today. So yes, there will be a need. The government will have new priorities. There will be some learnings, and the sense is that there is going to be a lot more rural push. Based on that, there is a pickup in FMCG spaces.
The only place we are underweight is consumption. because by nature we are a little bit value conscious, and most of the companies there used to trade at a slightly higher multiple. But obviously in this kind of a scary scenario which is being built in, they are the ones who are doing very well.
The way I look at it is that if we were to still broadly view this entire short-term narrative, the short-term narrative is that probably there's going to be a lot of subsidies, there might be a change in terms of how government looks at budget, and that could essentially potentially push some consumption. So is FMCG the right way to look at it? Is the right sector to basically invest? I think there are other ways to invest. You could probably invest in autos for that. You could invest in consumer electrical durables, small value discretionary for that, because those are sectors which are relatively cheaper and have faster earnings growth than your FMCG. So FMCG is not like something that is you should be hiding in. There could be short-term trades around it. You should sell those trades.
Right. The other space to focus would be city gas distribution companies, MGL, IGL, Gujarat Gas, a bunch of them. Many of them have not really performed the same way like some of the other PSU stocks. Today, Citi has come out with a report on that one, and the graphics will come up on your screen. Constructive on city gas space, and they are even to the extent of saying that there could be some consolidation in this space. Sanjeev, do you have any of these city gas stocks? At one time you were tracking IGL closely, if I remember correct. Do you have it on your radar now? Any thoughts there?
Correct, Ajay. We had all three, and MGL and Gujarat Gas gave almost 40% returns in the very short term. IGL was languished, but from that 410, 415, it came to 450. We still think this is a very good play, given that city gas distribution is only increasing. Their volumes and margins are a question of the market dynamics or little cyclicality. But I think they are a must-have in your portfolio. However, our darling over there has been GAIL, from 110, 120 that hit 220, and it's been a 60% gainer. We still think on any decline, GAIL should be added in your, but city gas distribution, particularly MGL and Gujarat Gas, can be outperformers. Also, Ajay, I would like to say that our outperformance in FMCG is more on Bata. So I erroneously said Patanjali, but you can avoid that. I would be more bullish on Bata and Marico and Nestle. Lever, of course, at 2200. But two other plays which I would suggest is HDFC Life has today crossed 3 lakh crore of AUM under management. And these are now doing quasi mutual fund businesses along with insurance. You cannot but make money in insurance. This is a theme for the next 20 years. I think valuations have corrected enough. This is going to be a very, very strong outperformer in the time to come. Along with that, please watch out for SAIL. As dollar and yields weaken, SAIL numbers will be far ahead of the market, and steel prices are headed up. SAIL can be an outperformer. And lastly, Coal India. 30% merchant prices have gone up, and they are going to be laughing their way. In fact, this quarter for Coal India may be the best in the history of the company.
A lot of stock ideas in there, as would be the case with telecom too. In fact, CLSA has come out with a note on telecom now that the 5G auction has been deferred, or rather the latest spectrum auction has been deferred to 25th June. They're saying it's largely for renewal of spectrum for Bharti as well as Vodafone, and Bharti's renewal spend stands at about $466 million, while for Vodafone Idea it's at $157 million. But given the run-up, Sanjeev, we've already seen in both Bharti as well as Vodafone Idea. Would you recommend buying these even at the current levels?
Aisha, where has Vodafone moved? It will move only after 18 rupees. When it crosses 18, then you call me. Like yesterday, I told you when we cross 700, then call me. So when it crosses 18, then we'll take it again. But 22 to 25 is coming in Vodafone. Don't be surprised.
So you've been, it's doubled from when you started recommending it, right? Around 7 or so the stock was when you started first talking about Vodafone Idea.
That time has passed. Now we are saying that we are sitting at 22.5. We need to have a market cap also which is in cognizance. Bharti was 600-700 rupees. Now that is 1400. So Vodafone should actually be 25. Look at the capital infusion, the growth in ARPU, the icing on the cake is going to be the AGR dues being cleared, reduced. So I think there is a perfect recipe for this stock to be an outperformer.
Right. Thanks very much for your time today, Sanjeev.